Frequency is everything. And in the clip I'm about to share with you from Terrence Howard, who's become extremely popular recently after getting on the Joe Rogan Experience, is literally risking his life sharing this information.
I want you guys to know about a 6,000-year-old secret. 6,000 years, mankind has been trying to decipher this one little thing called the flower of life. Now, do you know the flower of life? Now, you know this is one of the oldest symbols in human history, right? This symbol was found in the Temple of Osiris in Egypt, and it had been molecularly burned into the wall. And it's 6,000 years old. This same symbol has been found in the forbidden temples in China, sitting under the fufu dogs. And the foot on it, the flower of life, saying whoever controlled that flower of life controlled the universe.
And on the next clip, he's about to share with you how DNA, your DNA, has a certain frequency, and all the elements inside of that DNA has a certain frequency. And towards the end of this video, I'm going to share with you how to actually manipulate that energy so you can start magnetizing and manifesting at a quicker rate everything that you truly desire while simultaneously repelling the things that you don't want.
Simple. Our DNA is made up of what? 5 elements, right? Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and oxygen. It turns out hydrogen, they used to think that energy, the body transferred or understood the energy information through electricity. They're finding out it's through frequency. Well, guess what hydrogen sounds like? It's a key of E. Guess what? And it's the color yellow. That's what proper physics gets you to. But I got a question for you. Have you ever been at a party with some of your friends you ain't seen in 10 years, but y'all was like 14, you hung out and there's a song that came on and you was like, "Ugh," and everybody got up and was live at that moment. Now say 10 years later you got a friend with you. He's a good guy, but he wasn't there when me and my boys formed this. So when that song comes on, our DNA tightens. There's a particular song, a scale in the genomes for each and every one of us. Now, when that song is played, when your particular prime resonant frequency is played, guess what happens? Your DNA celebrates and tightens. Everything else gets pushed out.
What's up, guys? My name is Nico Rapcliffe. So glad to have you here on this video and on this YouTube channel. And again, like I said, I'm going to start sharing with you on this video how you can start manipulating your energy and your DNA and all the elements inside your DNA so that you can start magnetically manifesting and pulling things into your life that are for you and instantly repelling the things that are not for you. And that's what this YouTube channel is all about. We're actually on a mission to helping over 20,000 people in the next 90 days become magnetic manifestors. So if you want to be part of that, make sure and subscribe. And I also have some really cool stuff that we can go a little bit deeper with on the rest of this video. Okay, so how does this actually all work? What is energy? What is frequency? Well, understand that based on quantum mechanics, okay, and quantum neuroscience, is that we are 99% frequency. And so when you are vibrating at a high level, okay, there's a scale of consciousness known as the David Hawkins scale of consciousness. And so basically it means love, abundance, wealth, money, all that kind of stuff is up here. It's a higher frequency. And when you get on this frequency, all of a sudden, this is just gravitated towards with you. I'm going to share with you 2 specific stories here on this video where I started applying it to help me make more money, help me make better connections, help me get better health, and how you can start applying it so you can really start manifesting the things that you truly want to draw in. But think about it from the opposite side. Yes, the higher frequency things attracts the abundance, the money, the love, the health, all that kind of stuff, just effortless because of you're at this energetic standpoint. But if you're at the bottom, fear, scarcity, and lack, you're just going to continue to attract that type of stuff in. That's why they always say, like, you know, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's not just in terms of money. Energetically, the rich get richer because they're just constantly gravitating more towards it, and it allows them to gravitate more towards it, and then it just keeps on raising them up. But the same is on the flip side. If you're in fear, scarcity, and lack, you're going to attract more, which just perpetuates the fear, scarcity, and lack, and then it just keeps dragging you down. So that's why it's so important to understand these concepts. Literally some of the most important things that you could ever learn and embody. I encourage you to come back to this video and listen to it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. there's a concept that one of my mentors, who's a 9-figure earner, talks about this whole concept of spaced repetition. Okay, spaced repetition basically means that he doesn't just listen to a video once. He doesn't just memorize a video once. He doesn't just have a conversation around this type of stuff once. He does it over and over and over and over again. And so that's what I always strongly recommend people do, is they come back to these YouTube videos and they watch them again and again and again. And that's why I always recommend that you go through several of our videos. We have a whole catalog of videos and we keep on making more videos. And that's why we're able to help over 20,000 people become magnetic manifestors here on this YouTube channel, but also inside of our Skool community, which I'll tell you about here in a second. But how do we actually start doing this? Okay, everything is energy. Well, I'll explain that here in a second, but I want to share with you these 2 stories. Okay, first was when I was playing baseball. Okay, I was playing baseball in junior college, kind of a podunk place. No one really made it anywhere outside of that school, right? I kind of just fell into that school and it was my last option, but I still really wanted to play Division I. I had basically had 2 years, and more specifically, I had 1 season because I messed up. I didn't play well my first season. So I basically had 1 season to make that happen. And so, you might think, if you're not familiar with this energetic stuff, is that I would just need to grind and hustle and, just figure a way out how to get connected with some of these, big schools and get them to come watch me play, and then have like this whole back and forth relationship, have a bunch of calls, wining and dining, and then eventually after a lot of interaction, then they would hand me a scholarship and say, hey, we think you're worthy of, playing at our school, right? That would be logical. But here's the thing, is that frequency and the vibration, it bypasses the logic. Okay, so basically what happened is I shifted my frequency, and I'll explain how I did that. But once I shifted my frequency, I literally got a phone call from a dream school, Division I, that offered me a scholarship off rip. He left me a voice note. I didn't have my phone with me at practice. I came home, I look at my phone, and all of a sudden I got a missed call from my coach. I have a missed call from this coach that is recruiting me, and a voicemail saying that we would like to offer you a scholarship. Right? Absolutely insane, and it's not logical whatsoever, right? But here's the other one. Okay, here's the other story. So basically, I've been wanting to connect with an influencer, big influencer, has millions and millions of followers. I really set that intention, a couple of years ago. And then, you would think from a logical standpoint, you would have to, make a bunch of different connections. I'd have to grow my social media following, maybe, get invited to some events and then speak on stages, and then potentially maybe sharing a stage at some point, and then that's how we would get connected, right? That would be logical. That would make sense, right? But again, frequency, vibration, it's not logical. It bypasses logic. So what ended up happening is I got connected with one person. He put me in a group chat with this guy that has, again, millions and millions of followers, and made a warm introduction to me, right? He said, you guys have to meet. Boom. Just like that. Absolutely crazy, right? But again, we bypassed it because of the frequency. So what did I actually do here in both situations? And most importantly, how can you apply this to your life and your manifestation so that you can draw these type of things in? Well, really what I did is I shifted my identity. Okay. Once I shifted my identity, that's when the scholarship came in. Once I shifted my identity, that's when the influencer came in. How did I shift my identity, and what did I actually do to shift my identity? Well, here's one thing that I strongly recommend. That's where your brain goes automatically saying, how? Now be very careful with how you ask how. Is it with a period or is it with a question mark? Say that again. Is it with a period or a question mark? And honestly, I would probably do your absolute best not to even ask that question. So what I mean by, are you asking it with a period or a question mark? If I say, I shifted my identity and I got a scholarship and then I got connected with this big influencer has millions of followers, right? And if you say how with a period or if in an exclamation point, that's kind of just like saying, no, you didn't. Or what do you mean? No, tell me. I'm sitting back and I'm not sure how you did it. Tell me how you do it, right? Which is automatically throwing resistance into the factor. And because you're throwing resistance into the factor, then it's going to resist it even more, and it's just going to block those manifestations. However, if you ask it with a question mark, being like genuinely curious of like, how, like, I'm very intrigued. But again, like I said, one of the best things that you can do is not even ask that question. Rather say, well, what does that look like? What does that sound like? What does that feel like? And so what was interesting when I was playing baseball, I remember distinctly, there was one single practice that I don't know why this thought came to me, but I basically said, how would a D1 player show up to practice today? And I just asked that question, and I had the absolute best practice I've ever had. And I was just playing lights out, right? And then same thing with the influencer. I just said, like, how would, the best version of myself, how would the guy that's making multi-millions of dollars, how would the guy that does connect with these big influencers, how would he approach it? Like, what is his thoughts? How does he handle adversity? And I really get in that lens. And so I start doing that every single day. I keep asking myself those questions of like, how does that guy approach? What does that look like for him to operate through life? And I start visualizing that, right? I start seeing that. But even before you get into that visualization and start asking those questions, it's absolutely imperative for you to get very centered and zen, okay? Our energy cannot manipulate and move and evolve if we're stressed out, okay? If we're tightening up. If you start tightening up, it's almost like things get rigid and you can't move. It's like you're stuck, right? And if you want to manipulate your energy and let your energy flow and get into more of a flow state where you can start shifting your identity, you have to get present. You have to get zen. And that's why we always do breath work, especially right before we do our Vision Espressos, which I'll explain here in a second. And that's why we always do it on our Skool Community calls that we do every single Thursday inside of our free community that's free for right now, right? That's why we center ourselves. That's why we get grounded. We set intentions. We do gratitude. We do breath work, and we get very zen. Okay, and you probably even notice in the sound of my voice, it's even a little bit more calm and meditative and relaxed. And you might be calming down because of the fact that you're just listening to this and you're staying present and you're like, okay, I'm here. And because of that, you might be noticing how you feel a little bit more present and a little bit more grounded because of that. And now because of the fact that you're more grounded, it's like a warm piece of clay as opposed to a hard piece of clay. If it's hard, you're stressed out, it's hard to manipulate and move and shift into that new identity. But if you're relaxed and you're just grounded and that's your consistent vibration over and over and over again, then that's going to help you significantly shift your identity. So once you are grounded, I'm going to share with you two specific things on what you can do. One's more of a manual, and then one is our Vision Espresso that can really help you amplify this stuff significantly. So, first way is I want you to start answering those questions and start operating from that lens of your highest self. How does he operate? How does he, she think? How do they act? How do they handle adversity? And you start writing that stuff out, and you basically just start speaking it every single day. But you don't want to just do it every day. You want to do it all throughout the day, right? Say, Nico, the highest version of Nico, he handles adversity like a boss. He sees it as a fun challenge. He sees that as a game that he's always winning. He's always generous. He's loving on people. He's giving compliments. He believes in himself. He thinks good thoughts. When negative thoughts comes in, he says, cancel. And he just moves on to the next, right? And if you operate from that, and you speak that out after you have written it out and you got very clear, I just kind of riffed off the top of my head. But when you speak that out consistently, day in and day out, after getting zen, it's like you're molding and manipulating that energy to flow into a new identity. And once you have that new identity, you're at a different frequency, and then you're naturally gravitating that in. It's extremely, extremely powerful. So if you just make that a daily practice, and again, daily, talking about spaced repetition, doing it over and over, it's starting to manipulate your energy in your subconscious mind. You actually start believing it. And the more that you actually start believing it, the energetics just shift, and then you're just naturally gravitated to those people, right? And this has happened time and time again. I mean, I used to listen to this guy's YouTube channel. He has millions of followers, right? And then all of a sudden he just showed up at one of my events one time. It's crazy. And he became a client, right? He got his Vision Espresso because he saw the power and the value within this. So yes, you can write that stuff down and you can just speak it out. And one of our most powerful tools that we utilize inside of our Skool Community called Vision Espresso basically expedites this entire process. Has you speak those things out, and then it takes what you speak out and then just puts it into a beautifully custom built audio that you can listen to every day. And that's all you got to do is just listen to it every day. We offer that inside of our Skool community. But whatever you do, just understand these concepts on how once you shift your energy, shift your frequency, and you shift your DNA literally on an element by element basis, on a cellular level, because we're all energy. And once you truly understand that and step into that so much more every single day, and you keep on manipulating energy and shifting your identity into that person that you truly desire on who you want to become, that's when everything shifts. But it comes over time, over and over and over again, that spaced repetition. That's why, again, I recommend you come back to these videos consistently. Go back to some of the other videos that we have on this channel. It's really, really important that you do that, okay? And again, make sure and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because we're on a mission right now to generating over 20,000 YouTube subscribers so we can help you become a magnetic manifester. And then again, we go deep on this stuff inside of our Skool community. So if you'd like to learn all about this, make sure and follow me on Instagram, and then check out this video where it walks you through exactly how you can get involved in our Skool community and how you can be part of this amazing movement we're on. Right now, it's a free group. It won't be free forever. It soon will be a paid group, but we'd love to have you in. And yeah, our live calls are absolutely amazing. So again, make sure and check out this video. There's also the links down in the first pinned comment. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you on the next one.